Good evening, everyone. I really appreciate that you are coming here for the last session before the party. It is not easy, but hope we will have interesting session. How many of you are using Power Platform? Good. And how many of you are using Power Platform with OpenAI? Okay, we will have interesting discussion, hopefully. My name is Mihail Mateev. I am from Bulgaria, far away from here, but I'm coming almost every year to PaaS Summit. So I'm really happy to be again here and to discuss with you some cases around Power Platform, more especially Power Automate, because samples are preliminary with Power Automate flows, and how we can integrate OpenAI. Maybe not only OpenAI services, this pattern can be applied in different other AI as a software services. But again, now AI is actually trend. I will not explain details about OpenAI concept. I have 2-3 slides, but better to go ahead, and I will try, when I see that you are trying to fall asleep, to make demos. I know that demos are more interesting than slides, so I will try to make more demos, less slides. I have enough slides if something happened, last backup, if internet had a problem or something, but we will not go in this direction. So I will actually make samples with different LLM models, but focus will be not to discuss different models. Mostly focus will be how to integrate OpenAI. Of course, there will be some interesting samples like predictive analytics, for example, with GPT-4o. And let's see. Again, I'm going a little ahead. Why we need to integrate in more specific way OpenAI? Why I put this topic here? Because in most of samples, we will work directly with calls against OpenAI service. There are components, there are connectors, there are also some actions that are available based on encapsulated logic in OpenAI. But if you have experience, you know that with some changes in the API, usually some components stop to work. And there is another interesting story. Now, most of OpenAI capabilities for Power Platform and Power Automate are promoted preliminary how? With AI Builder. And there are some traps, because AI Builder is not free. You need to pay additionally. Even to try, you need to have capacity. When you have already one time paid for specific tenant AI Builder, you could not use for the same tenant again trials, and some specifics that actually makes for learning and research this approach with AI Builder not always very flexible. So that is the reason to be more focused on direct communication with OpenAI services. How many of you have development background? No need to have to use this. I will show you no need to have to use this, even for people who are not developers. We will have maybe very, very simple things related to how we can, with some tools, test some requests against the API, but that doesn't mean that you should be converted to developers. Some of you, maybe most of you, are using actively OpenAI. How you're using OpenAI? Using OpenAI platform of OpenAI consortium or Azure or both? So I will show you both, actually. Why both? Because if we are using OpenAI API from OpenAI consortium, it is simpler, but have some drawbacks. Drawbacks related to security, drawbacks related to routing. You have no control from where exactly is the deployment from OpenAI, where you will have actually generated all logic, in which region and how. So you need to have more of things like black box. And I will show with several steps also how we'll do this, but mostly after we have this, how we can integrate it, everything in different solutions. We can call API from almost everything. There are frameworks for many languages. I will have no time maybe for this short presentation to demonstrate also such kind of examples, but I will show you with Postman some details, and I will show you also how to use OpenAI with Azure. As I mentioned, there are some benefits, but also some specifics. When we are using OpenAI in Azure, it is like platform. Platform components you need to integrate. That means you need to have at least a little understanding about communication between services. You need to have several things to deploy the service, to make some additional settings that are not so simple and high level as if you are going directly to OpenAI. We will have some things related to different scenarios. Even chat. Quite often, you see some things related to making some chat with Copilot Studio now, in the past, virtual agents. And after that, you have directly option to use intelligent bot. But for many scenarios, you can integrate this to different solutions without to pay anything additional except your OpenAI subscription using Power Automate. I will demonstrate how to make it with Power Automate. How many of you make difference between completion and conversational mode for large language models, especially OpenAI? Yeah, the schema is relatively small because I stole it from official documentation. I didn't rework it, but you will be able after that to get the slides and to see it in details. The point is that we have two groups of actually models that can use both modes. I will not be focused on this, but we will have different type of requests, and this is something that, of course, you need to consider in specifics of our logic. Because I see for one person was not very interesting, I'm switching immediately into demo mode to make the things a little more attractive. So I will start in the following way. I will start immediately first with several flows that I will demonstrate, and after that I will go back into mechanics, how things works. Because in this way, you will be able to see first how you can use in practical examples different flows, and after that, we will discuss already details. Let's see. Okay. This sample with teams I will demonstrate a little later. I will start with relatively more simple demos, and step by step we will make it more complex. So let's go to, for example, this flow. The most time-consuming part is loading the UI of Power Automate. So Power Automate is not so slow, but sometimes loading different flows, you need to make a little more time consumption for this loading, or our connection is, no, everything should be okay. Okay, so give me a second to restart, to refresh. Let's go. Here. And I will demonstrate the things a little faster. Okay. Okay. So it seems everything will work. I prepared two groups of samples. One group that will be especially for integration with Microsoft Fabric and OpenAI, some interesting case, and another group that I will demonstrate actually with not more basic things, but not directly integrated with Fabric. Yeah, it seems that flow started to load. Okay, perfect. So let's go with one interesting case that maybe you never consider is possible to be done only with Power Automate. Predictive analytics. Predictive analytics in general is quite complex way of analysis, but we can make it with several steps if we know what we want, even with Power Automate. Okay, so imagine that we have the following situation. We need to observe some system. In the current sample, this is actually construction. I will show you before to start the flows what kind of images I am trying to use. For example, these are 3 sets of images with Rusty structures. Imagine that you have a solution where with some cameras, it could be with drones, robots, scenarios can be very different. You are getting actually information about the state outside of these structures. And we are sending this information somewhere in the cloud and triggering flow that analyze first the image, getting the content from the image, and after that, based on the first analysis, can make additional analysis with some prediction. Why I started with this? Because going in this scenario, going in this scenario, you will see the whole complexity, and we will go back into the small details. So, when we have a calls against OpenAI, as I already mentioned, the more classical way, using low-code, no-code platform like Power Platform, is to use HTTP request. For people who are not developers, this initially looks a little, how to put it, complex. But actually, you can help yourself in the following way. There are many tools for testing such kind of requests. How many of you are using Postman? OK, that's good. So we are starting from here. I will demonstrate with Postman several requests, and after that you will see similar requests in Power Automate. So let's start with something that is a little more funny. Request against OpenAI from OpenAI consortium, because actually the endpoint is simpler, where we want to have some funny picture. For example, Santa Claus visiting some place. I did this for one event in Rome. That is the reason to make it in this way. And there are some specific parameters that maybe some of you working with OpenAI already knows from API or from the UI. You can have for different models working with their endpoints control. How many, for example, if we are generating images we can make, what is the size, and some other parameters. Usually, when we need to have requests against OpenAI, we need to have several things configured that usually are in the header of the request, and depend on how a request is done. It could be also as part of authorization. We are putting here the key, which is from OpenAI, and the rest is in the body, actually the simple request. So we are sending this request. Depends on many factors. We can have some latency in the response. That means depends on what kind of model we are calling, where this model is uploaded, what is our connection, and other things. So let's see what is generated. I will open one simple tab, and we are seeing, for example, image generated from OpenAI. For this reason, I'm using DALL-E LLM in this case. I needed to regenerate. Doesn't matter that already I have this sample, because maybe you know that actually results of generated files are stored for specific time, and after that they are removed. So how we can make such kind of implementation in Power Automate, for example? We can go to the list of samples, because you saw already that such kind of refresh is a little slow. I will explain till samples are loaded what is the logic when I'm making a request related to the first sample about predictive analytics. Request always is against endpoint, HTTP and request, and details are, of course, related to the URI, which is here, what is the body, and what parameters we have in the header. Usually, when we receive the response from the service, this response is in JSON structure. So depending on what we are looking for, how many answers we have, what specifically we need to parse, we can have one or more steps of parsing of this JSON. For example, in this demo, I have 2 steps for parsing just to make the overall logic in each step simpler. Depending on what kind of model we have, we can have, of course, different analyses. What I demonstrated with Postman was generated of image, but with GPT-4 and 4.0 and, of course, 0.1 now, we can also have deep analysis of images. In the current situation, I'm making request where I want to analyze the image like this one that I already demonstrated. When we have response parsed on one or more steps, we are having already, at the end, the clear description of what we have on the image or part of the image using information in variable. Making second request. Second request is already for analysis, predictive analysis, where we are asking, based on description, what you will have, like risk for specific situation. Usually, when we need to analyze the answer, we need to precise very well what kind of cases we have. And here I simplify the things to several options. Using, after that conditional operation, I can, depending on situation, to make, for example, notification, to send an email or something like this. Let's see if our flows are loaded. Really, this is something that surprised me a little. I will demonstrate actually how it works. I have already data, but we'll make directly demonstration with new call. It will take maybe several seconds to make it, because the first step, where we have analysis of the image, depends on what we have, like actually limits for tokens and additional information in our prompt can be slower or faster. Usually for this time that we already wait, it is normal to have this information parsed. I'm going to the alt runs in run history to see what is the status. One possible case can be if we have waiting also the, okay, I got the situation. One possible case is related to status of the flow. If the flow is not turned on, you can have this situation, but you will have no clear notification in the latest versions of Power Automate, that actually your flow is waiting to be turned on. So we have, I think, this situation here. So I will make a refresh to try to go to the right, to the right screen. And we'll try to demonstrate the situation in our scenario again. Really not sure why we have I will try to change the connection. And I believe that we have some change in the performance. Actually, okay. So, not. And I will turn it on from here to simplify the situation. Okay. Going in editing mode, I will run it again. Yeah, situation which is a little strange for me is that Copilot, that Power Automate doesn't require so good connection. I tested it on the upper floor, and here I'm a little surprised, but okay, let's go again. I really hope now we will have better behavior. Yeah? No. We have the following situation. I will explain, even I will use the time to show you the host scenario. Okay. Imagine that we have something like this. Okay. This is the overall solution. A little simplified case is what I'm demonstrating. We have some devices that make observation, sending information, that means images and eventually metadata, to the cloud. We are triggering usually such kind of flow when something happens. For example, new images comes or some another event happened. This flow read the information, make request to OpenAI, having URI of the image, plus generating the prompt which contains information to analyze the image. Having this step, we are receiving information about what we have in the image. You will say now why we need to do this with OpenAI. We can do it with AI Vision. We can do it with different types of AI models, sometimes cheaper and simpler. So usually in complex analysis, we can have even several steps using different AI technologies to optimize the performance and to increase the preciseness. What I am trying to explain. Imagine that you have, for example, some images where we need to be focused on some areas. We can even make first AI vision to detect some areas, and after that, to have deeper analysis. OpenAI, after release of GPT-4 Turbo, is very good for image analysis. In the past, it was different story, and we can use it for very detailed analysis of image or part of the images. So we are using usually OpenAI to analyze videos and images. In videos, story is a little more specific because video actually is considering like actually a set of frames, so it is getting some frames, and usually other AI technologies are helping to get these frames, but with few words, OpenAI makes a very good analysis of the images and indirectly also of the videos and also speech, sounds, whatever. So we are using, in this sample that I started with good hope to make something complex, but yeah, you see that there is actually some luck now in the running. So I started to explain that we can have with simple tool quite complex analysis. What usually I'm doing not only for presentations, because some of these samples that I hope, let's see, I can demonstrate actually are not only for demos, but they were created first to prototyping some things that can be implemented after that as more serious and in scale solutions. So usually I'm trying for some scenarios to make prototype. Prototyping with Power Automate is very fast, very simple if you know what you want. After that, you can have, for example, scaling. Power Automate flows can be migrated to logic apps. This is one of the possible scenarios. Or if you need to have something custom, at least on level proof of concept, Power Automate can be very powerful tool. So this is the idea related to the overall scenario. Let's go back to...
Yeah, I see where you're going, but I just want to ask you a quick question as well. So I do have an app that do asset verification. So now, like what we do is like we declare whether something is impaired. Like that's a manual exercise when somebody is doing asset verification using Power Apps. So are you saying that because of we store somewhere in the cloud like these pictures, are you saying now I can declare the impairment, I can do the impairment test of these assets, right? I use this methodology just to go and verify, look at the asset. If it's broken, it goes and declares, says that no, this is impaired. Impaired meaning that it's damaged.
Yes, yes. It is not only impact. You have option to make complex analysis with simple flows. You can have actually analysis of the impact, but you can have also analysis related to what need to be taken, like actions. So that means predictive analytics after that. You can have any kind of analysis using actually Power Automate and OpenAI. Here the focus is that with OpenAI, you can have almost any kind of analysis, but you need to use it smart because it is actually service. You need to use it in the right places. You can change also the models. What I show in this demonstration with several steps actually explain that you can have more complex analysis, like analysis of the image, with more expensive model. For example, 4O. But you can make after that analysis that is related to just clarification if something is yes or no with, for example, GPT-4 Mini or something like this. So you can use it like universal tool, but the devil is in details.
So, would you be able to share would you give us this file?
Yeah, for sure. It is nothing that is secret. All demos.
Thanks, we'll be able just to build on it. So, just a last quick question. I don't want to take too much of your time. Maybe if we can just explain in 30 seconds. So, but I still have to ground your model just to say that no, if I'm declaring that this chair is damaged, it must be like this or this. It must look like this or this. Or will your model be able just to declare that this is damaged without me actually doing anything? You understand what I'm saying? Right? So do I have to ground like the analysis to say that when something is if it's a chair, it's been broken, it means that it's damaged. It means it must have 3 legs
This is descriptive analysis, what you are explaining. Descriptive analysis is done like first step, and after that you can make different types of analysis. I was focused mostly on prediction to explain the complexity and the business value, because when you have prediction, that means you can prevent something to happen and you can actually save money and time. Yeah, that is the case. So let's try to also explain even some more specific things. For now, we can consider that our flow can be actually executed also from outside. What is my point? You are able to have the whole business logic for one application collected into Power Automate. Imagine that you need to have security. You need people who are using this application to not have access directly to your accounts for OpenAI, and eventually to get or reuse some information that is confidential. So even only with Power Automate, you are able to make business logic layer, and you are able to put on front of other steps additional API, and it is something that is supported from Power Automate by default. How many of you are using this? I will try to show you with even more simpler case. Okay, this one. Here, when it loads, you will see one specific component that actually need to be used like trigger. This is trigger that is expecting HTTP call. Every time when you add in the beginning of the flow, yeah, it is I think it started. Okay. Every time when you put on the beginning such kind of trigger, you can send call to your Power Automate flow. You are able to have authorization against Active Directory. You are able to have security. You are able to have hidden logic. So if we use such kind of component, it is for manual triggering, but using HTTP call, you see that such kind of component has custom URL. That means you can generate separate API with business logic. And it works in similar way. So this sample is relatively simple. I'm sending request against this API. And after that, on the next step, I'm making the real request against the OpenAI. So now the sample is relatively basic. So I'm not making some transformations. But the logic can be, of course, much more complex. How we can test such kind of sample? We can test it in different way, but I will demonstrate it with, again, our Postman. I'm able to send request from Postman if I, of course, turn on the flow and start it. For this situation, we will need again to wait a few seconds. Okay. Should be turned on. Okay. And now I will put it in test mode. I will make a call, and this call will trigger the flow, and you will see the whole logic of the execution. So let's see. Yeah, this is our request. You can see how it is done in Postman. We have no call against API. We have calls against the flow. Making the request. Here I didn't make a specific logic to return from the flow specific data structure, but I need to run it again. You will see after several seconds, the flow should be executed, and execution should be with correct state of all steps. Okay, yeah, it is done. So this is the logic that can prevent your OpenAI environment to be exposed. And again, you can make it even only with Power Automate. So let's consider, because we have not much time, Yes, I apologize again for this situation. Maybe something with connection is not good or temporary, some services doesn't work very well. I want to show just one sample additionally, how we can integrate the logic, for example, in Teams. You have Teams, usually you pay for additional components. You are paying for Copilot Studio to make something, but you can make it only with simple subscription, doesn't matter, OpenAI directly or via Azure, and Power Automate. You can do everything and it will work. So this is the last what I will show, and everything additionally I can communicate if you are interested after the session, because yeah, the luck which is currently for this Power Automate flows actually took a lot of the time, and I was not able to demonstrate so many demos as I wanted. What is the scenario? I will show. We have Teams channel, and for example, if you have some action, if new conversation is started or some new questions or something, you can trigger specific flow. This flow, like this one of the in Teams, will be able to call OpenAI to make several steps, complex logic with the help of AI plus additional logic, and to return some information. So you can have any bot with OpenAI account and Power Automate. Let's go to design of the solution. So in this case, I'm using one trigger, which is when new channel message is added. Web. Here, we just making connection with the channel, getting the channel ID, making several steps parsing to precise what exactly is the essential part of the question. After that, we are making one logic. I did kind of try catch because there is some delay, actually. I implemented this with a very simple model in the past with GPT 3.5. With 4.0, the latency is much smaller, but again, you have the logic here. This try catch I did just to manage connectivity cases. We are sending information to OpenAI, generating again such kind of request where already parsed information is actually in this part. And of course, I'm putting some credentials that we need to execute the logic. After that, I receive the information. Again, several steps to parse, because structure usually is more complex. Generate one variable and send back to the channel. So let's see how it works. And unfortunately, for the limited time and these cases that we had with connectivity, this will be the most important from the live demos. So let's test it. Yeah, let's test it manually. Always is better to see real data instead automated test with already executed. And I will create some new post. For example, let's see what is the population of US. Again, sometimes there are some delay. I can make another one. For example, checking the runs, because with this connectivity sometimes it is possible to not see immediately what is the state. Yeah, for sure. You can get everything. I will just not give you credentials for connections, but you will configure your connectors for this. So we have the executed logic, and okay, actually, yeah, with some delay, it appeared. I'm using here, of course, as I mentioned, simple model, and some preciseness can be not the best one, but you understand. Power Automate is enough powerful to integrate OpenAI with almost any another platform. That is the idea. There are a lot of things that I can demonstrate. Usually my session includes more than 10 demos, but because of this latency here that really surprised me, I succeeded only with 3-4 demos. But again, I will share all samples, and if it is useful for you, I will be happy. You can contact me later. My contacts are also in the system. You can find me as a speaker in Past Summit. You can contact me in any social media, email, and I can also support you with some additional information. So that was the most important related to OpenAI. This is something that I tried to mention, but maybe I didn't go enough into details to make it very clear. If you want to have security on your solution level, you can add this in your flow plus configuration of OpenAI, and you can put in front a trigger that actually expose only custom API. So you have one step in front of the rest in the flow, where people are sending some request. After that, you can parse this request. You can check it if this request is actually not against of some policies. You will be not expose any kind of direct access to OpenAI, no any connections, and you will return to the user only what you want in this logic. So you can control the whole security.
Recommended to use OpenAI instead of Azure OpenAI?
It is the same like Power, but on the Azure, you can have additional security because in Azure, you are creating deployment, but deployment is not deployment of neural network because neural networks for OpenAI are huge, complex solutions. You are deploying a proxy application that is generated internally in implementations is on Python that expose API and some additional control. So it is more powerful than what I show with trigger in Power Automate Flow, but in general has again similar logic. In Azure, you work with abstraction deployment, but you are having requests against deployed Python web application with exposed API. You know in which region is actually your real deployment, but you have no direct access to this deployment. So from one side, you have some additional layer of security. You can integrate access with identity services like Azure Active Directory, now Entra, and to provide some additional logic. But in general, what Microsoft is doing has kind of similar logic to what I explained with Power Automate Flow and exposing the API in front. So it is good to use Azure, not only because of the security, but because of the performance, because you can control the routing where are going your requests. If you are using OpenAI from OpenAI Consortium API, they reroute your request transparently for you, depending on the load in their network, but it is something that you don't control. So with platform components, you have more control, and I recommend, because of this, Azure. Security, yes, but in general, you can make this or similar security also in different ways. I'm not sure if I answered your question, but
Because I heard that OpenAI is not secure because they use your data and learn from your data as well. While if you Azure OpenAI, your data is your data, it's not shared with anyone else.
actually, they do not use your data, but because there is semantic search, it is possible other systems having similar search to find results in the same area, but not with your personal data. So there is very sensitive border between what is used to improve the semantic search and what is used from your own data. What I'm trying to say is that, for example, if you have some internal research and document generations and searching something in different way with different words, because now it's very modern to talk about embeddings and vector search. These embeddings actually make exactly this semantic search. Search by meaning of the context. Doesn't matter that it can be written in totally different way, but not providing your data. So I think that people sometimes mix their own data and sharing the experience how to find some answers in data that is not controlled from them. And they think that if this data is not owned by them, but they did some steps to search and find some results, no one else can do this. And this is their IP. But it is not true, because actually this is some, for example, public data. And of course, everyone is helping platform to find some public data. So this is maybe kind of mistaken. Security related to your data, and getting knowledge how to improve document generation, searching, and some other things. So I'm not sure. Maybe you disagree with me, but my understanding is that security cannot be checked, because, of course, it is not open sourced solution, but on legal level, with documents, it is guaranteed. That means you have some legal rights related to everything that the vendor offer to you. And I'm not Microsoft advocate. I mean that I'm independent consultant and share this like my experience related to work with OpenAI. More questions? If not, thank you for staying. Enjoy the party. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming.